Joan Collins spent decades being one of the most watched women on the planet. But the one thing the cameras never captured was how long it took her to find a love that actually lasted. Most people know her as Alexis Carrington, the untouchable, razor-sharp villain of Dynasty, who dominated television screens throughout the 1980s.
Hello, how are you?
She was glamorous, fearless, and impossible to
congratulations
ignore.
on this film. What made you want to be a part of this project?
Joan was living a very different story, one that involved 5 marriages, repeated heartbreak, and a relentless tabloid spotlight that rarely gave her a moment's peace. She was born in London in 1933, raised in a household where show business was simply part of the air. Her father worked as a theatrical agent, her mother had once dreamed of dance, and Joan herself seemed destined for the stage from the moment she could hold an audience. She trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art as a teenager, developed her craft with real discipline, and was soon catching the attention of British filmmakers. Hollywood followed. A contract with 20th Century Fox in the 1950s launched her into a world of premieres, magazine covers, and international fame, and also into the intense scrutiny that came with it. Her personal life became as public as her career. Her first marriage, to actor Maxwell Reed, was described in later years as a deeply unhappy experience, one she was relieved to leave behind. A subsequent marriage to Anthony Newley brought 2 children and a warmth she genuinely valued, though the pressures of 2 high-profile careers ultimately proved too much. 2 more marriages followed, to Ron Cass and later to Peter Holm, each beginning with hope and ending in disappointment. Her split from Holm, in particular, became an ugly public spectacle that newspapers dissected for months. By the time Joan reached her late 60s, she had every reason to stop believing in lasting love altogether. She didn't.
Hello, how are you?
Instead, she met Percy Gibson,
congratulations on
a
this
theater
film. What made you
producer
want to
from
be a part
Peru,
of this project?
working in New York. Their beginning was quiet and professional, with no grand romantic gestures or fairy tale drama. They simply spent time together, and something easy and genuine grew between them. The age gap, more than 3 decades, immediately drew criticism. Commentators lined up to predict the relationship would collapse. Joan largely ignored them. She later said that Percy had never treated her like a celebrity. He treated her like herself. He made her laugh, encouraged her work, and stood beside her without ever needing the spotlight. They married in London in 2002. The skeptics kept talking. Then the years started passing, and eventually, the critics went quiet. What Joan and Percy built together wasn't a love story designed for headlines. It was built in private, through travel, shared humor, mutual respect, and the kind of steady companionship that doesn't photograph easily, but sustains a life. Those who encountered them often remarked on a simple, visible warmth between the two that was impossible to fake. Joan Collins' career is extraordinary. Few would dispute that. But the longer story, the one that runs underneath the fame and the glamour and the tabloid headlines, is about someone who refused to close her heart no matter how many times it had been bruised. She found her greatest love not in her 20s, but after a lifetime of learning what love actually requires. That's worth remembering. If this story moved you, give it a like and subscribe. There's plenty more where that came from.